الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. So before we start, we wish to first thank the administration of this masjid and also the brothers and sisters and also those who are present that for extending to us the invitation to be a part of this conference at this masjid. So we express our gratitude for this. Second, that because of, as cited by the brother, that there were some changes that took place. So I was not the initial person, I think, to be here, but Qadullah Masha, that we're here. So one, the topic has been changed to my understanding, and also the person sitting also is myself. So as for the topic that I was asked to discuss, that from what the brother said to me concerning that matters regarding hadith, and maybe the reason that for myself that I'm a graduate from Islamic University and from the College of Hadith. So our area that so of the things that we have some interest in is hadith. And also that just recently we came to the city and we presented a topic that related to matter regarding hadith, and it was somewhat requires further discussion. So I was asked to continue on that topic. So the part we to discuss somewhat that we had started is a matter which is discussed within the ilm of hadith, is matter pertaining to kitabat al-hadith or tadween al-sunnah. So regarding concerning the collection of hadith, and also the hadith being put in being collected, then that was the discussion that we had started just last week. So as we had mentioned before, just kind of somewhat to update the audience regarding that particular topic, that ulama, especially of contemporary times, and also have written about this topic regarding, as they refer to tadween al-sunnah or kitabat al-hadith, which is a topic that is at times used by the non-Muslim, the mustashrikeen, that try to attack Islam regarding as to at what point the Muslims start recording of hadith. So the ulama have now discussed this topic and written books on this topic, and also this topic is taught in universities. So as for the topic that we had mentioned before, so regarding this topic in brief, regarding concerning tadween al-sunnah, that recording and the documentation of the sunnah, that one, too close, need to be closer. Okay. That one regarding that we'll discuss. So this topic will involve first discussing what is hadith or sunnah. So we had covered regarding what is intended or meant by the word hadith according to the ulama of hadith, as we're discussing matter pertaining to ilm al-hadith. So the ulama of hadith, that they have their definition as to what is hadith, just as the fuqaha will have a definition of sunnah wal hadith, and also the usuliyin that will have a definition of a sunnah. So each science, they look at the sunnah, but they'll come to a different conclusion as to what is defined as what is the sunnah, based upon the aims of their science. With me, ikhwan? Sometimes I speak fast, huh? So we try to slow down somewhat. So I said to each science, they look at the word sunnah, hadith, or sunnah, and based upon the aims and objective of their science. So in discussing regarding the ulama of hadith, when they look at the word sunnah, as we had mentioned before, that it consists of various things. One, aqwalihi, regarding concerning the Prophet Islam statement, or ma uthira, or ma nuqila, what have been narrated, transmitted upon the Prophet Islam of his aqwal, his statements. That's one. Also his af'al, his actions. Third, taqrirat, the things that he approved of. And also the ulama of hadith also discuss matter regarding sifatihi. Also the Prophet Islam, his description, whether khalqiyya or khuluqiyya, whether by way of his personal physique description or also by way of his conduct. So for them, that's a part of the sunnah. And also by extension, the ulama of hadith, they also extend further than this by mention his harakat, all of his movements, sakanat, when he was still, and also manam, and even things regarding his dreams. So for them, everything is a part of the sunnah. They even include regarding qabla al-bi'tha, that even things before prophethood. So before he was commissioned as a Prophet ﷺ at the age of 40, they still collect matters regarding things that occur with him even before then. as we mentioned, from time of birth of the Prophet ﷺ up until his death. For the ulama of hadith, everything that they can gather with the Prophet ﷺ is considered to be with them a part of the sunnah. Clear? So the ulama of the sunnah, the ulama of hadith, that's how they approach regarding what is defined or what is said to be the sunnah. So everything that can be collected about the Prophet ﷺ, they were classed as a part of the sunnah. Now, we said the usuliyin, for example, the fuqaha, they would more so concentrate on matters regarding ba'd al-bi'tha, after prophethood. Because for them, the ulama of the fuqaha and the usuliyin, they look at things regarding ahkam, what rulings can be taken. So before prophethood, there's no ruling to be taken from the Prophet ﷺ. So after prophethood, then they more look to that area regarding the things that he said, the things that he did. Is there a ruling that can be taken from it? Then, so that's concerned because of that's the aim of their science. So the aim of the science of the fuqaha and the usuliyin is out to extract matters pertaining to ahkam al-shar'iyyah. So the next matter regarding the sunnah is to highlight the importance of the sunnah. So in highlighting the importance of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that we can summarize it with one hadith. Where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the hadith of Anas bin Malik in the Bukhari and Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ قال من رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. من رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. The one who goes against my sunnah is not from me. So the ulama have mentioned, so this hadith, it have like a story that goes with it, where you find that 3 companions that went to the Prophet ﷺ house and they asked regarding how he functioned. So based upon the information that they received regarding how the Prophet ﷺ functioned, that they felt somewhat ashamed. So they start to one mention that as for him, la asum, asum ad-dahr. That one he mentioned that I'll fast continuously, daily. The other mentioned aqum al-layl kullu. The other mentioned that I'll stay up all night and pray. And the third mentioned that la utazawwaj nisa, I will not marry women. So 3 companions, based upon what they heard of how the Prophet ﷺ function, that they wanted it something kind of somewhat to make up for their shortcomings as they saw it. So one mentioned, I'll fast constantly. One, I'll pray all the time during the night. And the third, that he will not marry anyone. When the Prophet ﷺ, he heard of this, kind of somewhat he corrected the things that they all intended to do. So he corrected this. Then he mentioned, and man ragiba an sunnatihi, man ragiba an sunnati falaysa minni. The one who goes against my sunnah is not from amongst me. So that this shows regarding at times a Muslim might have good intent, but the thing that he wished to fulfill may not be in line with the sunnah. So those things, if they do occur, then they are to be corrected. And a person always tries to stay within the sunnah. So for us, the Muslim, we see concerning matters regarding Islam, a way of measuring Islam, that we look to how the Prophet Islam, how he functioned out and how he did things. And we kind of measure our actions by him, we measure our statements by him, we measure our belief by him. So everything is measured with the Prophet Islam. He is the measuring stick. So whatever is in line with what he came with, alayhi salam, then we uphold it. Whatever he did not bring to us, we do not add to it. And the hadith of Aisha anha, man amila amalan laysa li amrana fahuwa rad. The one who doesn't act that is not in line with our action, it is rejected. So if we try to add to Islam, then that's problematic. Also, if we try to remove from the sunnah, then also that's problematic. And we find today those 2 extremes are present amongst the Muslims. Those who want to be over the top regarding the sunnah, where they try to introduce things, label it as sunnah, but in reality is not from the sunnah. So that's kind of somewhat going over the top. And those things need to be put in check. And also for another extreme, where people try to belittle the sunnah. Not give the sunnah its due respect and honor. Where kind of somewhat they take from the sunnah as they wish. And that also is a serious issue. I will find both those 2 extremes present today. The extreme of those who go over the top are people who say that we're upon the sunnah. And the ones who are somewhat negligent are the people that with the sunnah they are complacent. They're complacent regarding the sunnah. So the ulama kind of somewhat decided to codify the sunnah and to get the sunnah so as to make sure everything it stays intact. and that becomes the measuring stick. So as we had mentioned before regarding concerning that as for codifying of the sunnah, recording of the sunnah, it went through marahil, it went through different stages. So we had mentioned regarding that of the first stage that ulama discussed was a hadith or a sunnah recorded in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Did that occur? So you have madhahib, or you have of the ulama that take the position that during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that the Prophet ﷺ, he forbid people recording of hadith or sunnah and only concentrate on the Quran. And this is taken from a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Abu Sa'id al-Khudri anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ has stated in the hadith by stating, لا تكتبوا أني ومن كتب أني غير القرآن فيمحو. That the Prophet ﷺ, the meaning that لا تكتبوا, that none of you is to record anything about me other than the Quran, and if he was to do so, he is to erase it. If he was to record anything other than the Quran, then that is to be erased. So the ulama mentioned the hadith in the Muslim, and by this, a minority hold that recording of hadith during the time of the Prophet ﷺ was forbidden. But the majority of the ulama, they use another hadith that they mentioned regarding the Prophet ﷺ. He gave permission. There are many hadith. Of those hadith, they mention Am al-Fath al-Mecca, when a person from Yemen, that his name was Abu Shah, he came to the Prophet ﷺ, asked the Prophet ﷺ, he gave a khutbah. So he wanted this to be recorded. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told regarding the people called that for call, the Prophet ﷺ called on this matter, aktubu li Abi Shah, that you to record what the Prophet ﷺ have said for this person, Abu Shah. So there's hadith in the Bukhari and Muslim where the Prophet ﷺ, he gave permission for people to record hadith, and also other cases and circumstances. So the conclusion on this matter, whether hadith was allowed to be recorded during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that as we mentioned, of those who mentioned, no, minority, but the majority all that it was the initial command based upon hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that it was not allowed initially. Then later on, the Prophet ﷺ, he gave permission. So let's say the hadith that we mentioned, لا تكتبوا عني, not to record upon me, that hadith they said is mansukh. So the hadith was applied for a time, then after a while it was abrogated by the Prophet ﷺ giving permission for things to be recorded regarding hadith with the Quran. Then also another view that mentioned regarding concerning that those who say it is mansukh, they mentioned the hadith that we said concerning that of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, not to record upon me anything except the Quran. There's a discussion between the ulama of hadith. As we said before, hadith can be a very technical matter. Now, the science of hadith is a very technical matter. And sometimes in this technical matter of hadith, that we have to be open-minded. Not in the sense of we accept what is authenticated, but also have some respect and tolerance for at times the discussion between ulama regarding some hadith. So the hadith that we mentioned, that the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade that hadith being recorded, that hadith is discussed, even within Sahih Muslim. And I pause. So the hadith that is in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, لا تكتبوا عني, that not to record upon me, وَمَنْ كَتَبَ عني, and the one who record upon me, غَيْرُ الْقُرْآنِ فَلْيَمْحُ. That hadith, you are not to write except the Quran. That hadith, a discussion between ulama, and amongst them, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, all this hadith to be mawquf, meaning mawquf is a statement of the Sahaba, not the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. So there's a discussion between the ulama regarding is this hadith that actually goes back to the Prophet ﷺ, or is it actually a statement of the Sahaba? So you have the discussion. We said of those who say it is mawquf, not marfu. Marfu meaning it goes back to the Prophet ﷺ, Imam al-Bukhari, and also Abu Dawud. And these are mountains of ilm, that we can't just put aside what they have mentioned regarding certain hadith. So it shows regarding concerning that the overall view is that the Prophet ﷺ did allow for hadith to be recorded during his time. The Prophet ﷺ did allow hadith to be recorded during his time. Then we kind of somewhat move through, as this discussion moved through the stages that you find from the Sahaba, that many had their own recording. I was mentioned before, it was more of a personal basis. So the Sahaba who recorded hadith, that was more on a personal level, as they a more personal endeavor by some of the Sahaba. So amongst those during times of Sahaba, the hadith that was being recorded individually, it was called Sahifa. They refer to those books as being Sahifa. So like a collection by some of the Sahaba, and of those Sahifa that are renowned, they mentioned concerning Sahifa, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As. And it's referred to as Sahifa to Sadiqa. It's referred to as Sahifa as-Sadiqa. And that Sahifa, that it is somewhat about 400. They discuss regarding how many hadith, but is approximately around 400 hadith. But no particular, so he just collected those hadith, and that particular Sahifa, it is with us. And most of the hadith of this Sahifa, which is the chain, it goes an Amr ibn Shuhaib and Abi and Jaddihi, which is the Jad, which is Abdullah ibn Amr and As. That Sahifa, that type of, that siyaq, it is somewhat, those hadith can be found in Musnad of Ahmad ibn Hanbal and also in Kutub al-Arba. So that those hadith, that they are somewhat still preserved and with us in al-Musnad of Imam Ahmad, and also in other books of hadith, not per se found in Bukhari and Muslim. And we'll explain the reason for this later, if times permit. Then Ustadh, you have that Sahifa. Also you have Ali ibn Abi Talib, he has his own collection of hadith, and also Abu Bakr as-Siddiq also have his own little collection of some hadith. So you find some companions who had their own collection. So it shows that this matter was somewhat exist regarding the companions collecting hadith, that as we stated, and after the time of the Tabi'een, even more effort. So the time of the Tabi'een, that more effort was placed regarding recording hadith based upon circumstance and situation. And the time of Atba' Tabi'een, which is the time of Omar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, that being one of the Khulafa. So Omar ibn Abdul Aziz, one of the Khulafa of the Muslim, that also we mentioned is one of the great-grandson of Omar ibn Khattab. Also he was an alim. So he was a Khalifa, but also he was an alim, and also put emphasis regarding knowledge. So you find a leader amongst the Muslim who put great emphasis regarding ilm, then that's a ni'mah for the ummah. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, as I mentioned, Khalifatun Rashid, of those rightly guiding khulafa, that he kind of somewhat initiated the matter regarding the collecting and recording of hadith, but in a more systemized system. So in a more structured, organized system, he wanted this to be put in place. So before it was more said individual efforts. But Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, he died 110 al-Hijri. So 110 Hijri, that being the Khalifa, he kind of somewhat start to reach out to the ulama of his time regarding how to put a system in place regarding how to codify and to get a hadith from different areas. And we said that concern was raised based upon one, the ulama, the huffaz, before that were passing away. Also, that so death of the ulama before, also intishar regarding concerning isnad, the isnad of the hadith, what we mean by isnada, the isnad, the chain of the narrators. So the hadith consists of two parts, the matan and the isnad. So the isnad is the chain of narrators, the man or the people, not necessarily the man, but the rawat, which also includes at time female. So the rawat, that the chain start to become more lengthier. Also during that time, the khilaf between the Muslim was evident amongst the Muslim regarding that even people start to fabricate hadith to support their views and their ideas. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, that initiated the concept regarding trying now to put effort in having a system in place supported by the state in collecting hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So this process starts where he reached out are kind of somewhat appointed of those to lead on this matter amongst ulama. One of the Huffaz al-Kabir, Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, rahimahullah ta'ala, that to lead on this project. So al-Zuhri, rahimahullah, was the one that he gave that responsibility to start to collect hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So as different areas and regions of the Muslim, that hadith start to be collected. And this effort, it started. So books now start to be recorded, but also in a systemized way, in a more organized fashion. So in this, it started now a next stage of thing which concerning that the manaj al-muhaddithin, where the ulama of hadith, they start to have now a codified system regarding how to collect books of hadith, not just in a random way, so more in a systemized way regarding how books of hadith were collected, and that process is started and continue until today. So of the early ones to start recording hadith in different regions, so we have concerning, as we mentioned, that we have Abdul Malik ibn Jurayj, rahimahullah ta'ala, died 150 of the early ones to have his own collection of hadith. And he is from Mecca. This Abdul Malik ibn Jurayj, rahimahullah, also of those, not just hadith being collected, but also other science. So also he has his own book in tafsir, that a portion of it is in print or recently been printed. So he has that collection of hadith, but also tafsir. So other science also, books start to be recorded regarding other science. Also of those that we had mentioned, that Imam Malik ibn Anas, rahimahullah ta'ala, who died 179. So also he had his collection, that is referred to as what? The collection of Imam Malik rahimahullah referred to as? Again, you sound like you are nervous. Aywa. So say it with confidence. So we have said that these, we mentioned certain books, that Muwatta being one, and an additional 6 were called Kutub al-Sitta. For every Muslim adult should be somewhat familiar with these books. Every Muslim adult, male and female, should be familiar somewhat with these 6 books, at least. So Al-Muwatta rahimahullah, Imam Malik rahimahullah, that he wrote Al-Muwatta. So of those books that have reached us intact. So this concern is now one of the print of Muwatta. So this is the book of Muwatta, Imam Malik rahimahullah. So you can see that book. So it's this size. You have different riwayat, as they refer to us. That's the next discussion, not our discussion today. But the book of Muwatta, Imam Malik rahimahullah, of a book that the main topic of this book is fiqh. So you find that different we said, method of how to organize books of hadith. So Imam Malik rahimahullah, in this book Al-Muwatta that he wrote, that is a book that mainly concerning that he tried to capture certain things. Of those that Imam Malik rahimahullah, he tried to capture one, Ahadith al-Nabawiyah, that would be first. Then second, Athar, which would be Aqwal of the Sahaba, wa Tabi'een, and also his own views, ijtihadat of Imam Malik. So in this book, it's kind of somewhat, it gives us concern and insight regarding matters regarding fiqh, what have been recorded upon the Prophet ﷺ, also Sahaba, Tabi'een, and also Imam Malik with his own ijtihadat. So that in this book, it present with us today, which is Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala. And it was not the only book of Muwatta that was there present. Others of those who wrote a book that we had mentioned before, we have another concerning Ma'mar ibn Rashid. Ma'mar ibn Rashid also have his own book that it is present today. And he died 153. So Ma'mar ibn Rashid, also of those during that era, wrote also his own collection of hadith. And it is present with us today. As we mentioned, that collection is found at the back of the Musannif of Abdul Razak as-San'ani. So Abdul Razak as-San'ani, at the end of his book, he has a book called Al-Jami', that is Jami' Abdul Razak of Ma'mar ibn Rashid. Also, in this look at the matter, when I was going through some of my books, of the books that I found of that era, that a book written by Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah, that Al-Khurasani, he died 181. Nam, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah, he has his own jami that is somewhere in my bag there, but he has his own collection of hadith that is in print today. So as we said, of those who claim concerning, so it shows regarding concerning efforts regarding collecting the books of hadith, that you have those who, and these all what we have mentioned, proceed Bukhari wa Muslim. All that we have mentioned so far, proceed Imam Bukhari and also Imam Muslim rahimahullah, tabarak ta'ala. So you show the effort that was, there was effort that proceed Bukhari and Muslim. And there's other books. But as we said, because of time, we try to just mention some of those earlier ones. Then as others who now participated regarding collection of hadith. And you had the golden era, which we said the area of A'immat Kutubu Sitta. So as we had mentioned, so we now try to concentrate regarding Kutub As-Sitta, regarding those books. As we said, these are books should be common to every Muslim. Common to every Muslim. So it's known concerning, so you have many that mention regard, so due to that we're just going to somewhat try to go through some of them if possible. So before we start, we said Kutubu Sitta, who are they? What are they? Kutubu Sitta, what are they? What are they? Name me Kutubu Sitta. One from each person. A person can give one. So between ourselves, Kutubu Sitta. First one, Sahih Bukhari. So we have Kutubu Sitta wa Imma. So the name of the books I will discuss is the next matter. So we have Sahih Bukhari. Another. Sahih Muslim. Aywa. So note those two. Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Taib, the other four. Okay, Sunan Ibn Majah, that's one. And someone said Sunan Abu Dawood. Next, At-Tirmidhi. And the last, Nasa'i. Taib Mashi. So those are Kutubu Sitta. So in order, in some order, so we have Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abu Dawood, Al-Jami' / Sunan At-Tirmidhi, also fifth, Nasa'i. And Nasa'i rahimahullah, he has two books, more than one books, that he compiled. He has Al-Kubra wa Sugra. So As-Sugra is Mujtaba, which is from Kutub As-Sitta. And then we have the final one, which is Sunan Ibn Majah. So those are Kutub As-Sitta. Again, what are they? In that order that we mentioned. From you. If the only thing that you benefit from me today is that you all memorize the names of Kutub As-Sitta. If the least that we leave today with, that we memorize these books, Kutub As-Sitta. So again, first, with confidence, we said these are the usul of Islam regarding As-Sunnah. So we need to know them. And we said this discussion that's trying to discuss general information. The purpose of these books is to be studied and to be taught. That's the real purpose of these books. That most of the time that we're not doing. So the real intent of the author of these books and this effort is to get his ahadith so as to be taught amongst the Muslim and then to be applied. To be taught and to be applied. That's the purpose. So we cannot know this deen of Islam unless we know the books of the Sunnah. that give us the tafsil, give us the details of Islam. Kayfiyat as-salah, how we pray. In the Quran they said, Dhuhr arba rakat. Does it? So we need to know the sources that we go back to regarding the detailed matters regarding Islam. So I said Kutub Sitta, once again, they are Sahih Bukhari, one person. Give me Kutub Sitta. One person. Kum, stand. Sahih Muslim, one. No, I never said all six. I want someone to give me all six. And you can have this water. All six. Man. Stand. Hey. Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i. Hey, I can take the water. Naam. So I said to know these books are books that should be known to every Muslim. Should be known to every Muslim. So I said to know that, so the next matter regarding, so I said that there are these 6 books. Naam, these 6 books that I will mention that manahij concerning the methodology of the ulama regarding how they structure their books varies. So you find books of hadith that they fall into different categories. Books as to how they are authored and structured, they fall into different categories. Naam, so we go through some of them. Naam, so we have books that are called jawama or jama. Books based upon the structure, how the book is organized by that author. He follows a particular system. So that system that he follows based upon how the book is structured and also what is the content, it falls in a category called jawama or jama. So of those books that are referred to as Jawami or Jama, we have Bukhari and Muslim as an example. Being, why is this? If you go to Bukhari and Muslim, that Imam Bukhari and Muslim, that their book is very comprehensive regarding the topics that are discussed. So Jawami, as the brother mentioned, Siddiq Hassan Khan, that they mentioned of ulama of hadith, or they mentioned, the books of Jawami, that book will cover certain topics. 1, Aqidah / Tawheed. So if you go to Sahih Bukhari, you'll have a chapters discussing Aqidah / Tawheed. Also the book of Jawama, that will contain Ahkam, halal regarding Ibadat wal Mu'amalat. So the second thing is Ibadat concerning Ahkam. The third of the things, topics to be discussed in Jawama will be Tafsir. So you have certain ayat, we'll give a tafsir based upon what the Prophet Islam explained those ayat. So tafsir. Fourth, manaqib, regarding concerning that the virtue of Anbiya, virtue of the Sahaba. So those things also be contained inside that book. Also, he will discuss matters regarding Ashratus Sa'ah, things related to the final hour. Nam. Also, he will discuss 6 of those things to be covered, akhlaq wal adab. So also they'll cover in this book of Jawama, you'll find matters relating to akhlaq and we mentioned adab, mannerism and conduct. So these books will consist of these things. So become a very and also maghazi, things related to battles. So they mentioned, so those 7 or 8 topics are normally covered in books of Jawama. So any book that is labeled or referred to as Jama or Jawama is because they consist of those topics. Aqidah, Ahkam, Tafsir, Manaqib, Maghazi, what else? Adab, Akhlaq, and also Ashratus Sa'ah. So they cover all those things. So you read like Sahih Bukhari, you have a comprehensive idea of different things. So of those books that took that approach, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim rahimahullah ta'ala, their books are Jawama. You have others, but those 2 are mentioned. With Bukhari and Muslim, So they have that approach. A second approach regarding our books are written by the ulama of hadith that they call as-sunan. Kutub as-sunan. So as-sunan are books where the author, that is aim of the book is to mainly collect a hadith regarding ahkam. So those books, the main aim, objective of the author is to give you a rounded view regarding matter relating to ahkam, halal wa haram. So ibadat, so you find that they'll start with salat, tahara, salat, zakat, siyam, hajj, jihad, mu'amalat, nikah, talaq, and other things related to ahkam shar'iyya. So it's like a fake book. So slash books of that approach, they are a fake book, but with hadith. And the things of, and also the books of as-sunan, that they mainly try to mention primarily a hadith and to avoid mentioning things of athar, aqwal of the salaf. So Abu Dawood of those books. So Sunan Abu Dawood of those books. So you find Abu Dawood that mention that his book, his ahkam. He does add a few other stuff, but the main body of the book is ahkam. That's Sunan Abu Dawood. And Abu Dawood rahimullah in his book that he tries to collect a hadith, that ahkam, and also he has some things regarding a sunnah and one of al-bidah, but also of the thing Abu Dawood rahimullah that with his book he tries to use a hadith yastadil bihi al-ulama al-amsar wal-fuqaha al-amsar, that he tries to use a hadith that was used by the ulama in different regions. So the hadith that he mentions are a hadith that are used by the fuqaha in using as a proof for whatever matter. Clear, ikhwan? Clear? Everyone with me? Is it with me, huh?
We're with you.
Hey, you're not giving me.
We're with you.
So sometimes I feel like I'm speaking to a few people. Is that the case? La?
I'm trying to understand.
You see, you're trying. Is everyone else trying to understand? Is everyone else most trying to understand? So drop it type of thing. So that with ilm al-hadith, as we said, at times it can be, said it's of those things that unfortunately at times is not discussed as it should. Is not discussed as it should. So said again, try another, that books of hadith regarding, we have book of reference as sunan. So sunan, do you know the book? Bulugh al-Maram. Do you know that book? Bulugh al-Maram. It's there. Where is it? Can I see it? Hey, so this may be more familiar with all. Nam, Bulugh al-Maram. Clear to everyone. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he wrote this book. So this book, it consists primarily of what? What's the topic of this book? What is the topic of this book? Who is familiar? Ahadith al-Ahkam. So there's nothing mentioned about Aqidah. But at the end of the book, you have a book called Jama, which discusses matter regarding akhlaq wal fadal akhlaq. But in general, the book is about ahkam. How to pray, how to fast, how to make hajj, how to perform hajj, matter regarding nikah, a hadith regarding divorce. So this book is about ahkam, which is Bulugh al-Maram. So just think of Abu Dawood being a larger version. Being a larger version. Ulama mentioned concern that the first book, so these books are called Kutub Ahadith al-Ahkam. Kutub Ahadith al-Ahkam, where the main goal of these books is to mention a hadith relating to ahkam shar'iyya. How to pray, how to make wudu, how to make ghusl, how to fast, the rules relating to matters, different matters regarding day-to-day things that we do. So those are books of ahkam. So that now, this effort that Ibn Hajar didn't start with him. It started long before. With me? So of those who kind of somewhat, of the ones that are in the forefront of this, who started this initiative, the likes of Imam Abu Dawood as-Sijistani. And also said, in the same category be the book of Muwatta. So for the Muslims, so they mentioned that so Abu Dawood rahimullah, he put this book together. Mainly discuss matter regarding ahkam al-shari'ah, Islamic law. Islamic ahkam al-shari'ah, Islamic law. 5 minutes, see, I know that. So, since it's only 5 minutes, we'll give 5 minutes to Bukhari and Muslim to some degree. Next time inshallah we'll discuss the other books. So, back to when we discussed concerning the ulama of hadith, when they authored their books, they had different system that they followed. So of those, we mentioned that Imam Bukhari and Muslim follow a particular system. Their books, we mentioned that it consists of many topics. But also with Bukhari and Muslim, their books are somewhat elevated compared to other books of hadith based upon certain the criterias that they set. So Imam Bukhari rahimahullah and Muslim, they had certain criteria for their book, their collection. Bukhari, that regard concerned that this is Sahih Bukhari, one of the prints. So after discussion regarding Bukhari, what's the name of his book? That itself is a discussion. As to what is now established or what is more popular, they mention that his book is called Al-Jami', that give us an understanding as to what is the topic of the book or the subject of the book. So Al-Jami', it covers those 8 different topics. Al-Musnad. Al-Musnad is the next terminology used by the ulama of hadith, meaning concerned that hadith goes back to the Prophet ﷺ. That whatever is being mentioned goes back to the Prophet ﷺ. So Musnad have a full isnad with a discussion regarding the detail of Musnad, but of one of the meaning of Musnad, that whatever been mentioned, it goes back to the Prophet ﷺ with a complete connected isnad. So, I will mention the importance of the word Musnad in this. Then I mention the next third word, they mention as-Sahih. So Al-Jami', Al-Musnad, as-Sahih. So Sahih meaning that every hadith that goes back to the Prophet ﷺ in this collection is authentic. So every hadith that is mentioned back to the Prophet ﷺ in this collection, it is authentic. Nothing that is weak or unreliable. So everything in this collection of Imam Bukhari based upon the name that he gave to the book, the third name he mentioned, as-Sahih. Then he mentioned Al-Mukhtasar, which is something which is Mukhtasar, something which is a summary. He didn't mention everything that he knew. He just mentioned some of what he knew. Clear? Then it mentioned Min Umur Rasul alayhi salam wa Sunani wa Ayyami. So that's concerning so in this book of Sahih Bukhari, that based upon the meaning or what he mentioned of the thing that is of importance, which is 2 things, Al-Musnad and also As-Sahih. Those 2 words, Musnad, As-Sahih, that of the criteria of this book, whatever is mentioned regarding the Prophet Islam, it comes with an authentic isnad. And a next discussion regarding concerning hadith to be graded as authentic, you have 5 criteria that it must fulfill. So for hadith to be deemed maqbool, sahih, there's criteria that are in place. If the hadith fulfill these criteria, it is said to be maqbool, sahih. If it forfeits any one of those 5 criteria, it is deemed as what? The opposite, which is what? Who knows? Daif, weak. So to make it so, the ulama, they put in place a system to judge. So many things is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, but not everything can be verified. So a system to say what is correct and what is not correct, they put a system in place which is shurut, concerning shurut hadith sahih, conditions for hadith to be graded as sahih. If the hadith met these condition, is authentic. If it did not meet this condition, it is not authentic. Simple. So Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, all that is mentioned in this book, going back to the Prophet Islam, of the criteria is authentic. And Imam Muslim rahimahullah also did the same. Imam Muslim rahimahullah also had the same criteria. So those two books, they kind of somewhat they stand out from other books of hadith based upon that both those two authors and also others, but those two in particular, that they lay down as a part of the foundation to their book, that whatever is contained regarding the Prophet of Islam is authentic. Most of the books said, so others may not per se have that stipulation or that criteria, but they made this as one of the fundamental criteria relating to their book. So said that by now my 5 minutes is up, because the brother now is back in the chair. So said to know that now this topic is lengthy. Now we have condensed what we had, but as we said, it requires more further discussion without doubt. And inshallah ta'ala, maybe one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us the opportunity to be with you and to continue the discussion. So for today, inshallah ta'ala, we'll end there. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهادي إلى السبيل.